Well, hello, y'all. It's me again. I'm just doing a video just to keep up with what's going on. I guess this video, as you know, I'm with my son, so if he chimes in from time to time, say hi, Luca. Hi. And my dog, the elusive part of my trifecta, the cat's out, so we're good. Yeah, and my keyboard stick in the back. Yeah, so let's see. Where am I at? Basically, I think what I want to talk about in this video, if possible, is elements of like where I'm going in my past. Because I know, like, I was always talking about the moments and this, that, and it is very important, and I'm trying to stay in the moment. However, I feel like at least I'm being hinted at things within my life, what I'm seeing. Exactly. Is this feeling and sense of like I kind of was touching upon videos that were talking about contracts, all these things that need to kind of be like renegotiated, re-looked at, etc. Luca, please give mommy a second, please. And as I've been trying to get through my childhood stuff, trying to reclaim my my innocence of my childhoodness, I find myself going back in time, trying to see where all of the traumas are. Hence, like, I'm trying to play music around the time of a lot of my traumas too. Just kind of to reconnect, because some part of me feels like a lot of my memories, the views of my memories might be a little askew. And I kind of feel like if I'm going to talk about contracts, or I'm going to try to renegotiate or try to change certain elements about myself that I may have signed off on unknowingly, I've been trying to go back and forgive myself for like a lot of transgressions that I may have been not fully aware of, and or of myself and where I stood. And just, you know, when you do kind of a hindsight thing, you kind of realize like, okay, I wasn't at fault for this, or I was at fault for that, or you know, maybe I was a little too emotional to make decisions on a said thing or something. So I've been trying to go back. I noticed that it's been working, especially coming through the heart. Like when I think about one of the transgressions I got through was this 18-year-old version of myself, where in which I released myself from the guilt that I felt about not taking on my path. It's something that it's like I always kept telling myself like, oh, it's on me, I should have, I could have, I would have, I did that, and I've been doing that for a very long time. And it's like trying to release those transgressions within myself. Like I was talking about sin before, it's kind of the same, it is the same thing. So I've been going back and thinking about all the traumas that I've gone through from like 5 years old on. And it kind of ties into the time with my son and rekindling this sense of like, what's the word? Not naiveness, innocence. Yeah, like I'm trying to like wipe my slate clean in a sense. And I'm not even saying it's easy. It's really not. Like I'll feel like I get somewhere and then I'll go 2 steps back. I feel like there's some negative entities that are still, you know, kind of trying to hinder my abilities. And again, I need to find more stillness so that I can kind of locate them. Regardless of my eye being on or not, I should be able to locate it. Simply because I've always been before my eye ever came on before, I was always a feeler. I always went with my gut instinct. I knew that I was getting downloads and to follow those downloads, even though my subconscious and my conscious weren't doing the same things. And what I mean by that is like my gut feelings, or I guess my innate heart feelings, always kind of guided me, and I always went with that intuition. Or I have tried to go with that intuition. And I feel like in terms of these negative entities, I feel like I'm on the mark with that, because I'll notice like I'm starting to get more varying levels of negative thoughts. It's like nuts what they're throwing at me now. like, and then they're trying to target my son because they know that my love and my heart is so strongly adopting, you know, the things I love, like my son, my dog, my mom, Andre, but mainly my son right now, because they know that if they can implant those thought forms, and I give my energy to it, then they, and not win in a sense, but they, you know, checkmate for you today. So I'm trying really hard to break out of those negative thought forms. I try to catch them when they start, and I try to like tell them off and say, like that's the thing. Without an eye, it's a little more tricky because you're feeling things out versus like being able to actually see things, if that makes any sense. It's like, in the past, I used to be able to see different versions of myself. Not very many. I think 3, before I blocked myself. And see, that's another thing. It's like I'm in this conundrum, and at times I lose momentum because innately I know I did this to myself. I know I blocked myself. I am the only one who could have done it. I am God present. I did these things in order to teach myself something, obviously, and or for a different time of when I'm supposed to come on. What that causes in my human ego side self is, you know, things of impatience, and that impatience also brings forth feelings of, what's the word? Anticipation, but also at the same time I'm getting mad at myself a lot for what I missed out on, and that's not a good thing either, because it's like you never know what could have, would have, should have, could have happened. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I continue to meditate. I mean, at least when I close my eyes, I can sort of see my hands, which is good. Not as strongly as I used to, and my meditation. Honey, can you give mommy a second? 1 second. Thank you. My meditation continues, and I noticed that it's so weird. It's like if I try to focus on imagination, I get stunted. It's like as if the picture is fading. It's like I'm trying to catch it. It's like a dream, you know, like when you're in a dream running. You're like running and you can't outrun. That's kind of like how I feel like my imagination / eye is going. It's like my brain tells me, you know, it's on. It'll always be on. It's never off. I mean, as I'm floating into my dream time, I like everything opens up and I can see everything. So therefore, you know, I still have the ability. It's just whatever conundrum maze I put myself in, I did not leave myself breadcrumbs, or maybe I did to figure it out. But I'm trying to do it. And in terms of like ascension, I mean, I've been seeing my heart a lot. I know that deep down inside I want to achieve this, like I said, within a year. Please give me a second, honey. Sorry guys for all that, but it is what it is. I want to achieve it before the time comes, just simply because, like, in a sense, like, you know, when you're going for like your marks or whatnot, sorry, just give me a second, guys. When you're going for your marks and stuff, you want to ace it. And in a sense, it's like, I could have been like an accelerated student from a long time ago. And I missed that mark. So maybe it was a timeline of some sort that I missed. And maybe I'm getting my second chance around. I'm not sure, but maybe I'm not going to... Please, honey. Please, give me a second. Be quiet. Be quiet. A little bit? It's not going to happen. Okay, I'll sum this up really quickly. I think if I finish it before the 2.5 year mark, maybe in the year and a half mark, then that means that I can pass the course, in a sense, before this matrix course, before the estimated time of all graduation. I'm really trying to achieve that, just because I want to prove to myself that I didn't miss out on all of this time on earth, and I didn't need the assistance. And I know that's kind of like egotistical, and that in itself is not good, but that's kind of what I want. That is what I want. I want to pass this. I want to get involved and like people are like, oh, you know, like you just go do it, and it's not as easy as people think. It's like, I have a kid, you know, I may be going back to my job. I don't even know what that means. Like, I feel like everything's gonna crash, and the world as we know it is gonna change. So it's like, I don't really know what I'm invested in right now other than my child. And in my dream time, I'm doing so much work. I wake up with aches and pains, and I'm more exhausted than when I go to sleep. I know I'm doing some type of, I don't know, I'm always running around. That's what it seems to be. It's like I'm running here, running there, going here, going there. All I know is that there's this sense of time is running out in both realms for me. Like, wrong word, not realm. In my daytime awake life and my sleeping life, it's like I always have dreams where I'm like the pressure's on, or I'm trying to achieve something within a time frame. So I don't believe that this is like a coincidence. I know that I'm fighting fears within my dreams. However, I haven't had nightmares, which is great. So that means that obviously, ultimately, I am either mastering it, because if it was a nightmare, then I would be scared. So whatever is happening to me, I think I'm starting to hold my own. I am continuing to meditate. I really wish I had more developments on that. It's like, I really do wish. But again, so I guess realistically, there was something else I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah, love. About thinking about times and contracts and all of that. One thing I wanted to touch upon, please, was the fact, like, when I was at my height and peak, one thing I did know is that my heart was on. We all understand this. And also at the same time too, what that means, what the heart means, and what it means to truly have your heart on. And I think I came up with some type of explanation for those that are like a little confused as to what that means. Most of us have been in high school or some form of school, or teenagers in some type of, you know, school dwelling. And most of us fell in love, you know, with that awesome love, the love of eternity, it seemed like at that time. And no matter what anyone said or did or told you, exactly, you were convinced, no matter what, shy of a doubt, that this was the thing for you. It didn't matter how much of your life imploded. It didn't matter if the person was good for you or bad for you. But you wanted so desperately to be with this person and be in love. And this love was something that had no bounds. It was something that you innately felt inside, and it was something that you didn't have to be told. It just came out of you, and you would fight for it, and you would do anything for it. So in a sense, what I feel like... Okay. Sorry, guys. I had to go grab my son. So what I feel like is needed at this time is this back sense into our childhood, where we can remember what it's like to have this faith in love. You know, like when you think about love and how it's so needed at this point, especially to really raise our awareness and also our frequency, because love is the most powerful thing we have here in this universe. I believe it's the most powerful thing ever. Because it can defeat anything, exactly like I'm getting to. When you're in love, like a teenager, like you would go to war, you would die for this person, you would do it, and it's like you didn't really have any background for it or anything, or there wasn't like science backing it or none of that. And the thing is like, what I try to keep thinking about is like, it is the most or only thing that we truly know. And how I say this, and I hope I say this correctly, like, think about it. You love somebody that, like, let's say that first love, and you would have gone to hell and back to be with this person. And the thing is, you don't really have a real reason for it. You don't truly understand. See, my dog is biting my son. This is why they can't be together. You truly can't quantify it, and you don't understand where it came from, yet it feels like the most natural, innocent thing in the world. And that's kind of like the love and faith that we have to have or regain or reclaim again and have total confidence in for ourselves and, let's say, the higher ultimate power. We have to have that kind of passion and love, because I think as we get older, we get jaded and we don't really understand fully what that love is, I guess, until you have like a child, right? But realistically, what happens is like we don't have it for ourselves anymore, and we don't know how to have it for our higher selves or our creator. And I started thinking, like I said, I'm going back in my past. I'm trying to think about like the type of person I was. And I mean, at that point, I was in my first relationship. I was in love with this man, maybe not the greatest man, but I would have done anything. Like, and no matter what anyone told me, I was naive. I was willing to leave my heart open to pain and all of that because I never felt it. And also at the same time, it was innocent and the most purest form of love that someone can have. I mean, not the only person, but all of us have had. So I'm trying to reimagine what that was like again so that I can maybe try to bring it into my present life and really take that fearlessness I had during that love, like I did, you know, like where, like I said, I would have jumped leaps and bounds and done anything. And now we're always reserved, and now we're always worried, and now we're always more scared and fearful of getting hurt, right? So we turn our heart off, at least I'm trying to say in a romantic sense, like a romantic love. But if we could translate that type of naive openness back up again, chime into that, believe that the universe has no will to hurt us in any way, shape, or form, and really hone into that innocent version of love, I think that that's maybe where I'll find myself. Like in that fountain of pure, unfettered, sacred love. Because that was something that I also feel like I had when I was journeying the first time, because I didn't know what I was out to look for or to expect, but I was just like so hungry, and I had so much passion for the search, and I had so much love for what I was going to find. And I feel like it was all of the things that I did interact with her that changed me, that gave me that fear, that gave me all of that, and took me away from that innocent love that I had for the hunt, the chase, the curiosity, all of that stuff. So I think in the next, in the next part of my life that I'm going through, that's what I'm really going to try to tap into, is my older self, not in the sense of like trying to recreate time, because all time is happening at the same time. And that's another thing that you kind of have to play with too, because it's like, well, then I'm always universally in love, and I'm always, had my eye open, and I always, so those are fundamental things that it's like, you really have to like shape your brain to kind of overcome the ego and the negative thought forms that prevent you from knowing that. And sometimes it can take years. It took me not as much time the last time, because it was so innocent and it was fresh and new, and it was just so innate. And then I put all the blockades up, and then I stopped understanding how to do that. So it's like I have to go back in time in order to kind of retrace my steps to figure out how I can open that part of myself up again. Like, I know that I'm getting really close with my childhood stuff. Like, I've been re-tapping into some memories and traumas, like I said, and trying to let them go and trying to look at them a little differently, and maybe not with as much malice or contention, or maybe looking at it, like I said, as a 30-year-old versus an 18-year-old or a 14-year-old, or my first trauma was at 5. So it's like you kind of have to apologize and recreate these memories in your mind so that you can release a lot of the garbage, a lot of the negative things you hold tightly that you believe create who you are. And that's not true. Those situations they shape you. If you think of you as a clay model inside, they shape you, but they are not you. So when we play the victim, and hold on to those tragedies in our mind, we end up believing that that is the essence of who we are, or that makes up who we are. And really, it's not true. And I'll give you an example of this, and this is what I mean. And please know that this is a random example. But I was talking to my best friend, one of my best friends. Her brother has been in jail since he was 14 years old, and he's now 27. So he's been in jail a long time. And we were talking, and she was like, yeah, I'm catching up with my brother. And she said that her brother called out someone for something. And in my mind, I was like, yeah, that's Roberto. You know, like, no matter how much time had passed, I knew innately that Roberto was always that type of person. Like, he was a person that couldn't deal with injustice. I know, ironically, he's in jail. But my point is that we have these elemental things that others can see of ourselves that are innate. It doesn't matter what came our way. Like, for example, he's in jail. It didn't shape, like, that trauma did not shape who he is. And that's what I'm trying to say about ourselves. We all have these innate things that make up the I am, who I am, right? Or who you are. And to learn what those fundamental, I guess, pillars are is very insightful, because they start to be your building blocks for your I am presence. And then the more you take out these fettered, egotistical, I guess, curvatures and shapings that you kind of believe in so highly, that make you feel like that's what you are, but you're really not. So I'm kind of going on some tangents here, but they kind of all correlate. Love, understanding the first essence of love. Yeah, that's a better way of putting it. The first essence of love, your first love, what it felt like, what it was like, you know, why it was different than any other loves, and loves going forward. Do you still open up like you did in the first love? And if you do, you probably are a very in tune individual with your spirituality. If you're not, like most of us, and you've kind of, you know, covered up your heart in a sense to protect yourself from this eternal love that we are given by our Creator, and then we kind of lose hold of. That's the next thing. And then revisiting your traumas and your past in order to kind of review and reflect, and also maybe rewrite and renegotiate certain contracts that you made with yourself and maybe some, you know, lower end beings, to kind of say, like, this is what I want in this situation. And for all I know, like, I've made contracts all over the place that I wasn't aware of. So using your intuition and trying to navigate through those traumas and like get through them, so that you can kind of say, like, check. I've checked through all these traumas. I've released them all. That means that they're not part of my I am presence anymore. Therefore, I am this. And that's kind of where I'm headed, or wanting to head to within this next year, because I need to... Shh. Thank you very much. He's in a one finger, kind of like Da Vinci's. But that's where I'm at, and that's what I'm talking about. And I want to see if anyone has any inputs, or if anyone else is on the same tip, because realistically, that's all I feel like I'm able to do right now. Like I said, I've been in a trifecta for a while. I'm trying to reclaim thoughts in all forms of my past. And my son never wants me to wear glasses ever. Yee. Thank you for anyone who is watching, for all of your patience and understanding. But he is a very big part of my life, so I couldn't see myself doing these videos without him. And that's it. Bye-bye for now. Love you all.